Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time. So, as always, a shout out to Lux, our federal venerator of Surain. We would also like to thank Travis, who does our transcription, and Kevin, who does our promo videos.
What's better than an epic snowblown battle scene in which a pregnant woman slaughters an army and makes the dicks of all the incel viewers shrivel and fall off? Is it that dragon bussy getting smacked with the open palm of realization? Is it the tender love between Lan and Nynaeve? Nope. It's the CW-style love triangle between characters who have the romantic chemistry of a teen boy's crusty tube sock. Matt, join us Queers of Times as we talk about this and more in episode 7 of The Wheel of Time.
I love even while you were reading that.
I know.
Like Matt.
Did you read it prior?
I did, but I didn't read it far enough, I think. I just more like sort of skimmed through it, and I didn't catch that part, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, Matt can't be here for this episode, but we did ask him to write the intro because they're horrifying and...
Horrifying and perfect, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. We love you.
We miss you.
Yes.
The end.
Let's start with our favorite moments.
By the way, we're talking about season 1, episode 7, yeah. If that wasn't clear from the intro.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the intro.
If it's not clear...
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Can you imagine if people thought that, like, we had, like, somehow...
We just stopped. We're talking about Seinfeld now.
It's not even Wheel of Time. We're talking now, but this is now a Seinfeld podcast.
Yeah.
This is what we do. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we want to start with a favorite moment. Well, I think because I didn't put it, but I think, Kat, you put it? Maybe you can start with the cold open.
The cold open. Everything about the cold open is just so impressive. Like, it's obvious this is what they put the money into, because the choreography of that scene is perfect. Like, it's just, everything just looks so crisp. The actress that they got to play, so good. It's such a well done scene. The cape scene, when she pulls the guy from the cape.
Yeah.
Extremely good. And also I instantly thought of Edna Mode from The Incredibles saying no capes.
No capes, exactly.
I mean, it's still true. It was true then. It's still true. Capes are a liability. They are a problem. And in this case, it turned into something very visually good.
Yeah. And the cameras they used make everything flow so well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a high quality production right there.
Yeah.
Great fight scene. I think it was a scene they put last year at San Diego Comic Con when they had a share panel with Ring of Power, and I think it was a great scene to highlight the value of the show. Like when you don't want to explain exactly what it is about, but you want to show, hey, it's a badass show, you should watch it. It's a good scene for that.
Yeah. No, I think it was really, really good. I do love it. Cinematically, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have as much of an emotional connection to Tigraine, or Shail, whatever her name is. That's not really a spoiler.
What is she I'm trying to remember what she's credited as.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. I'm like, what is she credited as? Aiel woman?
No, she's actually, I think she's credited as Tigraine.
Is she?
Which is bad.
Oh, boy. Wow, okay. Well then.
Wheel of Time on her IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she's credited as Tigraine Mantir. Tigraine Mantir.
Mantir, okay. That is important.
Yes.
That's better.
Yeah. So I think I thought it was really, really good. I just don't have an emotional investment. And also later on when we see Tam as a young thing and realizing that was all practical effects, because I thought it was CGI. I thought it was bad CGI, but
Yeah, it
Yes.
looked weird.
It looked unnatural.
It did look weird. Yeah, I know. And when he took off the helmet, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck happened to him? And I feel like they maybe add practical effect and, with the heat of the helmet and of the helmet and scouting, maybe some stuff didn't turn out well. And just also, like, I'm assuming nobody is pretty after fighting for God knows how many hours and scouting.
This is true.
That's totally fair. It is a good scene. I don't necessarily have the attachment to it everyone else does, but that's okay because I'm broken.
Okay, that was very, very dramatic of you.
What? Me?
You dramatic? Never. Do you want to go on another very dramatic part, Machinchin?
I loved the Mean Girl nanobots. I love them so much. Yes, it is a change from the books.
Mm-hmm.
I understand some people were pissy about it, but honestly, making the Mean Girl nanobots be such an important plot element is amazing, and it feels believable in the world. And I love that the voice changes with each person. Like, it's overlapped and it's their own voices mixed with someone else's. And it's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I'm glad Matt isn't here because Matt will be mad that I don't like blood, sweet blood, dripping down my chin, blood, flesh, rip, so tender, whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think Mean Girl nanobots are better.
And yeah, it's right that it has a purpose for the plot, which is a very smart thing to do. You don't waste any minute, you don't waste that confrontation, you use it for something.
And you aren't taking away from anything in the books. Like, in my mind, you aren't, because Machin-Chin is just a mindless hunger thing that doesn't serve a plot other than to be scary. And they didn't take that away. This is still terrifying. It's just, it acts in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Machin-Chin is a book supposed to make you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That thing will also make someone go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
serve the same purpose.
I will say, I want to know what Loyal heard.
Oh, yeah, right.
Ooh. What would Loyal hear? What do you think?
Oh, this is an entire thing when the episode aired. It was like,
Yeah.
no one will ever read your books.
Oh, no. He would hear that.
The groves are gonna die.
Oh, no.
Do you remember the book you put coffee on?
Your mother misses you and she's disappointed.
Not mad, just disappointed.
She probably already has a wife ready for you at home.
It's gonna be the most, like, inane shit, and it would be, I want an outtake.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I love it.
I want to be real of that.
I would like to see it.
And the only other person we don't hear is Rand's at that moment.
Yeah.
We do hear a little bit of him because we hear that I think it's about how Gwen will never love him as much as he loves her, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, no, I just love Machin-Chin.
It's good.
I loved it.
And, like, I mean, I think this is even more kind of malicious than what it's like in the books because, like, people with anxiety and depression, what is worse than the brain gremlins? Than, like, people...
The wind of intrusive thoughts.
Yes, the wind of intrusive thoughts where just, like, they are telling you your deepest and darkest and worst fears. And it's being said not just in any voice, in your voice. And that's terrifying.
And it apparently, like, knows things, or it'll say things that you've been not telling yourself. So there's definitely, like, some kind of, like, weird power to it. Like, it definitely is other, which I really like.
Yeah.
It goes into your deepest thoughts that you don't even want to admit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worse than your therapist.
Yeah, it's literally a therapist that is not paid well or trained well and just wants you to, like, confront your shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just deal with your shit in the worst way possible. Hey, did you know that you're a dumb bitch? Please give me $140.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kat, you also had something about that moment.
It kind of goes into this, but, like, this is now the second time where, like, an otherworldly power has been like, this terrible thing is going to happen to Nynaeve. and the people that Nynaeve loves. And Nynaeve has been like, actually, how about no? We're like, Machin Shin was literally like to her, you can't save them. You can't do anything. They're all going to die. And that was the moment where she's like, you can fuck around with me, but what I will not allow you to do is fuck around with my people. I'm the only one who can do that. Only me.
In my notes, I wrote Machin Shin, you can't protect them. You can't. Nynaeve, bet.
Bet. Exactly. Literally. Bet. And I love it. I just think it's like, it's so perfectly her. And obviously, like, it does not happen in the books at all, but I think it's perfectly in line with her character. It's such a good moment. And people got so bitchy over it, and it made me love it even more.
I also loved her being the most pragmatic one early on in the ways when she was like, what's Machin Shin?
Mm-hmm.
And then she asks again later, what's Machin Shin? Loyal's like, it translates from the old tongue to the black wind. Okay, what's the fucking black wind, motherfucker? Answer my goddamn question.
She was getting heated.
I also love, like, the first time she asked, oh, Loyal, just go away.
Mm-hmm.
Loyal says,
I'm not paid for that.
Yeah.
Loyal says, look, we owe the Aes Sedai, but I don't owe you shit right now. I'm sorry. I will love you in, like, a couple books from now, but right now, it's all good. Whatever. I don't know you.
Oh my god.
It got very hood for a second.
It got... I hate you so much.
Look, I grew up in what some people would call the ghetto. I
Come on.
I understand.
The ghetto of Seattle? What are you talking about?
There are some very poor neighborhoods in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Like some very, very, like, poor neighborhoods that are predominantly black. But yes, Loyal and Nynaeve had a hood moment.
They had a moment. It's fine. Who's next?
Okay, maybe I can give one of mine. I had 3 that comes a little bit later in this episode. One that maybe comes first, maybe the discussion between Lan and Moraine. This episode, there's some stuff that I don't like in this episode, like really don't like, but there's also a lot of good conversation between characters.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of intimate conversation with them. Like, you know there's a trust between those characters, you know there's a deep connection between them. And we got one between Lan and Moraine, and I love that because we've been seeing the two of them interacting together since the beginning of this season. A lot of the time, like, you know they're close, but also, like, as soon as, for example, Moraine starts sharing doubts, Lan was like, you're a bit emotional when I get a drink. So it's like there's this closeness, but we haven't seen sometimes how deep they connect. And this one is a bit like that because, yeah, you have Moraine remembering how she met him because they're in the Borderlands. That's where they meet.
Mm-hmm.
Like the smell, it reminds me of the night we met. I love that because, like, the night they met, in the book, she dropped him in a pond.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's just so funny to remember that while watching that moment. And also I feel like this scene really comes at a moment where Moraine thinks she's gonna go to her death and that she's bringing everyone to their death with her. And you see she's conflicted about it, and conflicted especially about Lan, who has been with her for 20 years. And I like that we see that she is conflicted about how much she's taken from him. And I also love that Lan is like, you've taken nothing from me. Like, I had nothing before you, and you have given me both something to live for and something to die for. And yeah, I think it's a very nice moment between the two of them. It also shows that Lan has issues because it's not a good thing to have nothing to live for and nothing to die for.
Yep.
But she's a bit like that too, so...
A bit?
I mean, yeah, I did love... Because these people have been traveling together for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
they're literally closer than husband and wife. It's nice to see those moments between them.
Yeah. I don't think we get that enough in the books.
No. I mean, I will say, like, yes, Moraine is a bit like that, but that was one of my favorite moments was Moraine and just the entire episode. Like, she's in the end game right now.
Mm-hmm.
The few fucks that she held on to, completely gone. She will get this done no matter what, and I love her for it. Like, when she tells the kids, whatever it is you heard in the wind, put it out of your minds. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we all can't compartmentalize like that. We don't all have Aes Sedai training. And then she was like straight up threatening Lady Amalisa.
Threatening Min?
That was a weird change. I get it. It did take me aback though.
Yeah.
Because I was like, with the Aes Sedai, like we would tell everybody who you were the implication was we will tell everyone who you are if you don't fucking listen to me and do what I tell you. And that was weird, but fine.
But also she would.
Yeah.
I mean, if she cannot use...
I think it would depend. I think it would depend on the stakes of this, like, of the stakes of everything and how dire everything is. And so if it were, like, I think Moraine's MO is very much, and I think this is true in the books too, her MO is always like, I want you to choose what I want you to do.
Right.
And I will do things, I will manipulate you into doing what I want you to do. But I at the end of the day, I want you to choose.
Right. It's a coerced decision, but it's still your coerced decision.
Exactly. And she does it in this episode with the kids. Like, that's exactly what she does with them.
Like, the exact line is, Min asks, do they know what I am? And Moraine says, no one does, thanks to the Aes Sedai. I mean, if we revealed what you are, or what you were, you'd be hounded every minute of every day, or worse. She never threatens her. It's implied.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And I just love that she fucking, like, knows she's gonna die. She said anyone else is gonna be, like, turned to dust between two forces of nature. That includes her. Mm-hmm. Like, do the kids not realize this? They don't.
Yeah.
I literally do not think that they realize that Moraine knows she's going to die.
I think they think she's going to find a way, that she knows a way out of this. Like, I think that's their assumption. They're not understanding. I think even at this point, they don't fully understand, and there's no way they could really, the gravity of what's happening right now and what they're going towards. And they're so focused on what is happening to them that they are not, it hasn't clicked in that, like, she's saying they're all going to die. That includes her and Lan. She's not being, like, she's not lying about that. She's being very straightforward with that.
Yeah, that is very, like, there is no, like, reading between the lines on that. That is what she said.
Yeah, she's being very serious about that. There was, Moraine in this entire episode, pure gold. This is a woman, she's at the end of her rope. She left the love of her life behind. She doesn't have time for, like, second guessing, doubt. All of that is gone. And, like, there's just this little moment where she's walking through the streets, I think on their way to see Min, and she turns around and they're all, like, sort of following after her. And she has this very, like uncomfortable look on her face, like, oh my God, these fucking kids are just on my tail. Like, obviously she's told them to follow her, but there's still this air of, like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is my life. Like, I've just had these children that I've just, like, I guess they're adopted by me now, and I guess I have to take them with me because, you know, the fate of the world depends on it, but oh my God.
I thank God at least the shitty one left. Like,
At least.
God.
At least the shitty one. I mean, yeah.
At least the problem child took care of itself.
At least the problem child.
Like, yeah, no, she also has just, like, we're going to see Moraine, like, her deterioration next episode, even more so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all told with her hair.
Just
sleek in episode 1. Whew.
She's going through it.
But yeah, no, we see, and she was just told that her wife is going to be her downfall. Like,
right? Exactly.
She's done.
Yeah. That's it for her.
I think talking about Min,
mm-hmm.
I can talk more about Min.
Yeah.
Because I love that. So I had no doubt that we were going to see Min at some point in this season. A lot of people were a bit freaked out because we didn't see her earlier in the season. But I'm glad that we finally got to see her and that she's really coming up at this moment where she's Moraine's last hope into figuring out who the fuck is a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So she's really that important right now. And also she's absolutely badass. Like, she does not give a fuck. When Rand comes up later in that episode and I don't remember exactly what she tells him. Wait, I had the thing. I definitely don't care how you feel. You're just another guy in another bar that wants something from me. I'm like, oh shit, not that guy again. and I was very curious how they were gonna do her visions, and I think it looks really good. I'm super excited about that, and I love that we got book visions and show only visions, because that means there's some stuff that we already know what they mean, but there's some other stuff we don't, and it keeps us guessing. And it's nice not to know everything about this show on a book series we have already read way too many times.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I was very confused about the baby for an entire week.
I still am.
I mean, okay, well, we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But yeah, no, I was very confused about the baby for an entire week, and then we find out next episode, but kind of.
Oh,
yeah.
Never mind. I'm not confused anymore.
Oh, okay. I was confused about why you were confused. I was like, girl, are you having a Matt moment?
You know what? I forgot that I figured it out in the next episode. That's what's happening. I'm doing great mentally. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I think overall Min does give quite a bit of a different vibe from the books, from the early books. But it's also maybe because Jordan didn't go enough into the tomboy vibes, or the tomboy vibes has changed since 1990.
Yeah, I think this is close to early Min in the books. It's definitely a better version, but I do think it's close to Eye of the World Min.
Yeah, I don't know. Eye of the World Min was...
Oh, no. You know who it is? It's Origins Min.
Yes.
It is Origins Min. It absolutely is. Yeah.
It's sex in Min that you're thinking about.
Yeah. This is Origins Min. Rafe read that and said, this is it.
This is what I'm doing. This is the blueprint. Here we go.
Yeah. So I'm super excited to see more of her.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's going to be an amazing character. I love her already.
I fell in love for the minute she opened her mouth, and and I love that she, even after Moraine kind of, implicates that she will tell Min's business to everyone, she still kept things back from Moraine, because when Rand comes later, Min obviously knows exactly who he is and chose not to tell Moraine. And so I love the way she's being characterized.
I think there was a theory at some point that whenever Min is drinking something, she's lying about something.
Oh, uh-oh.
Because she does drink when Moraine asks her if she knows, whether there's something more special about one of them. She drinks when Rand asks her whether he's going to come back from the Eye.
Interesting.
To be fair, she's a bartender.
Yeah, but
it's at specific moments.
Sipping at moments where you don't want to answer.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. I'm curious about that.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. Interesting.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about Lan and Moraine. Did you want to keep going on that, Kat?
I mean, so the only other thing I'll say is it's not very common, I think. And it's not usually done very well to show genuine bonds between men and women that are specifically platonic, and they're treated with the same respect and screen time as romantic relationships between men and women. And there's no sort of will they, won't they vibe. There's no sort of playing with viewers' minds, even though some viewers may choose to think that's the case. It's not actually the case in what's happening. I just really appreciate that we're getting to see that with Lan and Moraine, where there's an obvious love there, and it is strictly platonic, and it is deep and it's strong, and it's been there for you can tell these are people who have known each other for years, and they've experienced a lot together, and there's just so much between them. And then also that as Lan is leaving, Moraine gives Lan a little, like, I like Nynaeve, I like her. And I just thought it was very sweet. Like, we had that moment with Lan in the episode before saying, like, give her my best. And obviously Lan, he wants Moraine to be happy, and he knows about her and Swan. And then we get a sort of mirror of that in this episode with Moraine now saying, like, I like her. I like her style. I just thought it was very sweet.
And it's a kind of a change from the books where Moraine kind of got jealous of how close Lan and Nynaeve were getting and kind of tried to manipulate Lan into picking her over Nynaeve at some point, something like that. But now she's like, more approving, and that's definitely a book change that I can go behind.
I agree.
There's also another throwback to the last episode where Lan says, I hate it when he calls me that.
Yes, and mirroring Swan, I hate it when you call me that.
Yeah, it's just nice. It was just a nice little, like, string through the episodes that I really loved.
Yeah.
I love that, that scene between Lan and Nynaeve after they fuck. Is actually one of my favorite scenes of that episode, because it's nice we finally get to know more about Lan backstory. And it's, I don't know, I love a lot of the dialogues in this show, and there's again some very nice sentences. That's one, like, this scene feels very poetic, like, who is he treats you like a son, you are a king without a kingdom, a boy without a family, and now you finally belong to her. It's the way it's said, it's the way it's written, it has a fantasy vibe without being overly cliche.
Yeah, it borders on too cliche or too, like, romance novel-y, but it doesn't quite get there, and it's still comfortable.
It has the good parts. It has the... And that's not to say anything, like, I mean, I love romance novels. I just don't, like, it's...
The Wheel of Time is not a romance novel. Right.
It's not... Exactly. That is exactly it. But they're doing a good job at blending, I think, different genres into this in a way that works really, really well with the dialogue that they're using in the show.
I will say, Sue, that yes, The Wheel of Time does not have this romance, like, it's not a romance book, but sometimes Robert Jordan had some sentences that were just, like, deeply heartbreaking, or this kind of thing. Like,
oh, absolutely.
He wrote some bangers, yeah.
He wrote some bangers sometimes.
Yeah, he did.
And, I mean, I was finishing, like, The Shadow Rising yesterday, and there's a scene at the end with Perrin. It's like, oh shit, this was so romantic, I wanted to puke.
Just want to set myself on fire. Oh my god.
Yeah. James, you had one last favorite moment.
Yes. I loved the reveal that Rand was the Dragon Reborn. From the moment that he got out of bed with his post-nut clarity, shot some arrows with the flame in the void, and to the entire conversation with Min, and from, like, him knocking on Moraine's door, it was just amazing. Like, the entire sequence was super well done, and it was an amazing reveal, and I just wanted to applaud everybody for that, because it was really good.
Yeah,
it was really well done. I mean, I remember my girlfriend was like, wait, what? It's who now? Because, like, it's, I think the general audience, like, I mean, I think some people figured it out, but I think a lot of people had, like, they thought it was different people depending on what was happening in an episode. And yeah, it was a good reveal. I agree. It was well done.
Yeah, it's actually one thing that I put in the next section, foreshadowing, which there's not a lot in this section because we're reaching the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I love that we get to see all of the Dragon Reborn hints that we missed in the previous episodes in the reveal. Like Rand channeling for the door or in the ways, or seeing Dragon Mount.
That mountain looking familiar. That mountain. I know it.
That mountain.
I made it.
I know you hate it, James. I know you hate that line.
It's
a bit weird. This line specifically is a bit weird.
It's just a little too on the nose for me.
I was gonna say it's very on the nose. It's just right there. I think I've seen it before. Maybe in a dream.
Yeah, there's sometimes they do have some moments where it's a little bit too much on the nose. They have that a few times with Perrin in this episode, and I did not like that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We have some thoughts. I think I have very different thoughts than the other two.
That's fine. I want to hear some positivity.
Yeah. So we all mentioned Amalisa.
We did all mention Amalisa.
Yes.
The character that none of us really cared about in the books.
Yeah.
She was mentioned a couple of times.
Well,
but they turned her into a really good character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna die.
Oof, boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But they made us care. I mean, when what happens later in episode 8, I was like, oh, this sucks. I don't like this. This is really sad.
And it shows that some people can go to the White Tower and not make it all the way, but they still get to live their lives.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they still get some training, and that training can be used later on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that's typically like something that a lot of people complain about episode 8, like how she would know about linking and something. Yeah, she learned the theory about a lot of things. She just didn't have the power to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I also got sad for Malkieri Woman, who is credited as Malkieri Woman. She does not have a name.
No, she doesn't. That was unfortunate.
It's basically the woman who raised Lan, right?
Yep.
Right? Like, it's his mom, kind of. And Malkieri Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Rude.
Rude. Very rude.
And then this isn't the only other thing I mentioned was, and it's not even foreshadowing, it's a little bit of a callback. It's Rand saying, "It's been right in front of my face the whole time. I never even noticed." That's literally your personality. You are dumb.
It's him in a nutshell.
That is your entire personality, Rand. You need to get on board with this.
It actually says something very similar in like the next episode, where it's like when he's talking about to Moraine about how she brought Egwene to see her Armelin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's always right in front of his.
Well, that's Rand.
Yeah.
That's our boy.
Rand is problematic fave.
On this, change is scary and so is the drama.
Let's get into it. Let's
go right into the CW love triangle.
Listen. I don't know if it's because I've been watching Real Housewives, but I felt this way even when I first watched it. I found it hilarious. It's just like you could see all of the different conditions cooking all through the episode for this specific moment to happen, because they are all riddled with self-doubt and fear and anxiety, and they're all feeding on each other, and all of these different like tensions and things that have been brewing and bubbling all through this are just coming to a head, and so, all it took was for someone to say the wrong thing. But the someone was Nynaeve, because of course it was.
No, the someone was Perrin. If Perrin had just like...
Oh, well, yeah.
If Perrin had just like kept his fucking mouth... I'm not blaming the victim. He's not a victim. No, I'm blaming him.
Perrin did nothing wrong.
Not all Perrins.
Not all parents. # not all parents. Rand was being an ass.
Yeah, I don't know. Perrin, it felt out of nowhere, and it did not feel like, yes, Rand was being a little rude. Mm-hmm. I don't think he was being that terrible. Yes, he was being a dick, but I don't know.
He was accusing Egwene. This is the thing, is that he said Egwene didn't care about Matt. Essentially, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And he knows better. He knows that that's not true. He was saying it to be hurtful, and Perrin could see that.
My thing is just like, Rand was trying to make them all angry at him because he knew he was the Dragon Reborn. He wants to drive a wedge between them. He wants to make it a clean cut. Mm-hmm. I just do not think that the payoff was there. I felt they could have done that in a lot of different ways, and I felt that it was just needless drama that I don't understand.
Okay, I can see that.
one thing that I will say regarding Perrin talking to Bran about how he talks to Egwene is that I saw Bran was saying, oh, like the only one that really left him was Egwene. But it's actually something it already used against Egwene in episode 2, I think, when they got this fight after the first dream.
Oh, yeah, because he's still butthurt about it, yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's like literally the second time he's using that argument, which, okay, sure, like in front of his friend. Mm-hmm. So I kind of sense that, yeah, guy, it's starting to be a bit too much. Maybe move over from that.
Yeah.
Especially since Matt literally just left them all.
Exactly.
So Egwene is kind of, it's okay for someone to feel salty about that.
Mm.
I did feel during the entire thing, like when Rand was talking about how Matt is struggling and you never really gave him a chance and how he always gives to his friends and cares about them. I'm like, are you talking straight to me? Because yes, I do hate Matt. I feel very attacked right now. And, you know, you're right. No, I haven't given him a chance at all. But that's not going to change, so...
I was just going to say, are you going to do anything about it? But there's the answer.
No.
Nope.
It is what it is. One thing that we'll just say regarding Perrin love triangle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think that Perrin was, like, in love with Egwene. Because, like, I think that's something that a lot of people were kind of mad about. Because, like, why would you put that love triangle in this kind of thing? I feel like Perrin, sure, has probably a crush, but, like, Egwene, she's pretty, she's a friend. Like, sure, it's okay to crush on someone even if you're married. Like, as long as you don't do anything about it. Like, yeah, it's not because you get married that you're suddenly blind. But I still think, like, he loved his wife, even they had insecurity. Sure, they had issue. Every couple has trouble. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But then kill her in, like, these berserk moments that he cannot make sense of. Mm-hmm. So there's really this thing that he's trying to rationalize and to make sense of it. Why did he do that? Was it because he didn't love enough Layla? Was it, what kind of monster is he to kill his own wife? And there's this, like, this whole time that he spent with Egwene that he always had this little crush on that. And some people noticed, Nynaeve noticed, I think Layla also noticed. And now there's like, okay, does that mean I actually killed my wife because I liked Egwene? That sounds a bit extreme. He didn't do that. But then, like, you get Machin Chin actually using that deep thoughts, deep fear that Perrin had and throw it back into his face. And now everyone is freaking out because it's like, no, Perrin wasn't in love with Egwene. No, he probably wasn't. He's just afraid that this is the reason why he killed his wife. At least that's how I'm interpreting all of that.
I think that's exactly it. I think that's literally what happened. Like, I think that Perrin probably had, like, a passing interest in Egwene and may have, like, thought about asking her out or something along those lines when they were younger. But then things changed and he met Layla and they got married and he was in love. It happens. This is life.
I do think that probably Rand and Egwene started going out and he was like, okay, look, I need to stop holding on to this torch.
Yeah.
I will propose to Layla. Yes, it was the instigating thing, but it doesn't make it less valid.
Exactly.
So,
because I think I wholeheartedly believe he genuinely loved Layla. Yeah. He genuinely loved her. He loved his wife. And and that's what I mean. Like, I think it was everything that happened was like the perfect storm of all of these different bits and pieces that had happened previously in the season just coming together. And it's just like, and they're just coming off of Machin Chin and they're all filled with all of their, like, these intrusive thoughts. And they're, like, you know, thinking, like, is this actually the truth? Like, what is true? Is this real?
What is the truth? Yeah.
What is the truth?
Tell me the truth.
Tell me the truth.
It was...
Yeah.
I don't hate it as much as most people do, but I do think it could have been done differently. And that's okay. You know what? It's fucking okay.
Absolutely. I get, you know, I hadn't thought about it that way before, but I get what you mean by it. The payoff wasn't good enough. Like, it wasn't a good enough payoff. I agree. It wasn't a good enough payoff. It should have been, it needs to be bigger. Like, it can't be based on, like, relationships, like interpersonal sort of, you know?
Yeah, it was messy. It felt messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still, very curious how the last two episodes would have turned out if they didn't have to rewrite most of it because Bernie Harris left. And I think this episode, we easily feel that Matt is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think considering that, I'm pretty happy overall how everything turns out.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what the episode looked like with Matt in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to know what the plots were, how it changed a little bit, if it would have made more sense, because I think that would have made it a little better for me if Matt were there.
I suspect that the last two episodes would have been
Better,
a little bit more cohesive if Barney Harris hadn't left. I think they would have been just a little bit better because it was obvious they were leading up to something with Matt.
Yeah.
They were building up to something with him. And then to suddenly have that taken away and them not be able to there's what are they going to do? They can't replace it really anyway. And so they have to essentially write around it at the last minute with COVID and all of the things. And so the fact that they were able to, I've said this before, and many people have said this before, the fact that they were able to get fairly cohesive episodes put together in spite of all of this is very impressive to me.
And with COVID going on and significantly reduced crew and extras, yeah.
Yeah, and a smaller, they weren't working with a huge budget, and so they had to make do with what they had. And, they're even, with the ways visually, I wasn't pleased with it. It didn't really hit the spot for me, but I appreciate it.
I liked the dark honey hive, honeycomb.
Yeah. I didn't mind it. Watching it again, I didn't mind it as much as I thought I would, but as I did before, I should say. But yeah, I would be very interested to see exactly what these episodes would have been if Matt had been there, because I think we would have seen, possibly more Fane. I'm assuming we would have seen more Fane in these episodes because his story and Matt's story are kind of linked as of right now. And so who knows? It would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So I do want to get a few things out of the way where people were mad about stupid shit. So I'll start with the less stupid ones. People were mad about Lan and Nynaeve fucking. People were mad about the blight, how it looked. But the most stupid thing that people were upset about was Tigraine fighting without her veil.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The discourse around that made me lose faith in humanity a bit. Because I don't understand what kind of person you have to be for that to bother you so much. And it wasn't even entirely Book Cloaks doing it. There were some people in the fandom that were big mad. They were mad.
Big mad.
Which is so dumb because she's literally removing her veil because she's about to give birth.
She's about to push a watermelon out of her ginger puss. You don't wear a mask when you're pushing a watermelon out of your ginger puss.
Exactly.
You seem to have a lot of experience with that. I will trust you on that. But yeah, she removed her veil and then she got attacked.
Exactly.
What do you want her to do? To put her veil back and to get stabbed? Or do you want her to take her spears and fight back?
Well, Camille, she's an Aiel. She should be able to do all of those things.
Yeah, it goes against their culture.
At the same time.
And also, I'm sorry, for a TV show purpose, you have to put actors' face. You don't have to. Mandalorian have so many characters that you don't show their face. But it's better to see someone's face, and especially to see Bran's mom's face.
It was just... I do remember noping out of Twitter for a couple of days after reading all that stuff. I was like, no, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
I deserve better than this.
Yeah. The Lan and Nynaeve one is what really... the amount of people that were just incensed by this, which is wild to me. They think they're about to die. Lan and Nynaeve are preparing to go somewhere where they are fully expecting they're going to die and that their friends are going to die. Nynaeve deserves, and I put this in my notes, she deserves to have her back broken. She deserves that. She deserves to have back-breaking sex. Think if she thinks she's going to die the next day. That's all.
these are two characters who live for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Their existence is for other people. They are doing something for themselves. Let them have it.
Yeah.
It's...
Exactly.
My note said, Nynaeve, do you want me to go? Lan, not until I respectfully dick you down.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what happens.
And I think we had a whole episode about, sex in the Wheel of Time, sex in the TV show.
With Brie, yeah.
And whenever I see people complaining about characters fucking in the Wheel of Time TV show, I'm always a bit suspicious about how much of that is just basic puritanism, poisoning the world conversation.
It's all fade to black.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are not... Look, as much as I want to see Daniel Henney just pound, as much as I want that, I did not see him fuck.
Mm-hmm.
No, we didn't see anything.
Nope.
As much as Matt thirsts for Yosha Stradowski's skussies, it's not something we're seeing.
Yeah.
Just stop.
As much as I would love to have seen Moiraine riding Swan's face, we didn't see that. We didn't get it.
I can't believe that's what broke James. I can't believe this is so soft compared to the kind of shit
I know.
James or Matt can say. And no, James has removed their handphone because they just cannot with us. And they're still not back. Are you good?
I'm not offended. I was just taken aback. And I didn't know how to process it.
Is it the image of Moiraine riding Swan's face?
No, that's hot. That's fine.
It's because I said it.
I knew I was gonna get something when you open your mouth. I just did not see
that coming.
I just did not imagine that.
Uh-huh.
Well, there was a coming of sort, but
there was a coming. Mm-hmm. Indeed. Anyway.
Moving on. Kat, maybe do you want to go?
What do I have to say? Oh, yes. Okay, so this was, technically not a change, but people thought it was going to be a change. I just remember when episode 1 happened and we didn't get the fevered confession and all of that. People were like, I can't believe they didn't include it. It's so monumental. It's such an important part of what happens with Rand. And here we have it. And it happens in a moment where we absolutely need it to happen. It is it's added in such an important moment because it's part of the montage, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the first thing that we see, and that is what really it shows that from the very beginning, since they left the Two Rivers, this has been haunting Rand. He has been thinking about this the entire time, and then it makes you go back and realize oh, so now I have to reevaluate everything, the way that Rand has behaved, the way that he's interacted with people, the way that he's, the things that he said, it all, it's a different color now, kind of, with it.
Yeah.
And I just think it was really, I love that they changed that they didn't, because I think putting it at the beginning, it would have given away everything.
Yeah.
You would know what's the point in that?
Just like when you read The Eye of the World and it opens up with Rand.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it opens up with a very confusing prologue from 3,000 years ago, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it was added at the moment, exactly where it should have been. And I really, really like that they did that. Because it was a way to sort of surprise book fans. I don't know why some book fans thought we wouldn't get it.
I was okay with us not getting it.
I would have been fine with it.
I didn't expect it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing is that scene was probably filmed at the same time they filmed episode 1.
Right.
And when episode 1 came out, we got stills of that scene.
We did.
And I think a lot of people thought it was cut, like many of the scenes that were cut for episode 1. And they were mad that it got shot and then cut.
Like the beautiful Egwene scene.
But that's something I was saying on Twitter earlier today. I feel like for a fandom that is so fond of foreshadowing, we are not really willing to give the show the time to set itself up.
Right.
Exactly.
We're too quick to judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's give them time. How boring would it be if they gave everything all at once? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It would be so...
This isn't Michelle Yeoh's show.
This is not Michelle Yeoh's show. As much as, I would now... can we get Michelle Yeoh in Wheel of Time?
You know what?
Any role, anything. Anything she wants. She can have it all.
She can play Luz Theron. Oh my God.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
The fandom would be so instantly split.
Two separate factions. Oh my God, it would be so good.
I would cease contact with anybody that did not like that. That anyone that was not immediately on board, no.
On board with Michelle Yeoh as Luz Theron. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think one quick thing that I had, a few people were a bit annoyed that only Rand and Moraine went to the Eye of the World. And I'm like, honestly, what the fuck do you want the other folks to do at the Eye of the World? Pass out after 30 seconds like they do in the books? Because that's literally the only thing they do there. They get knocked off as soon as like the antagonist arrives. And that's it. That's the only thing they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then Rand goes up the fucking stairs and it's just stupid. It's
weird.
The Eye of the World is a Eye of the World book. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much that happens. There's so much that is packed into those last like 50 or so pages. And it's like, it's a lot.
Like in every goddamn book in this fucking series. I'm sorry to say, I finished The Shadow Rising yesterday. The last 100 pages, suddenly everything happens in it. They were traveling the whole goddamn time.
I'm be so mad about this.
I will say Robert Jordan does save the best bits for the end, or the busiest bits for the end, but the Eye of the World is full of Eye of the World-isms that only happen in Eye of the World.
And that's what it is. That's what it is. And it would have been so weird to see it on screen. I'm really glad that they were like, we are going to keep the bits of this that matter and that make sense. And that's what's going to stay. And we're going to change what needs to be changed. I think it works perfectly that Rand and Moraine go alone by themselves. It works perfectly in line with their characters. I think plot-wise it works. I like it.
Yeah. James, you had a few more changes to mention.
Yes. I did really enjoy that Min now has more of a deeper connection with Rand because that was her first vision. It kind of like ties them together a little bit more. And I really appreciate that because in the books, Min is with Rand. Oh, spoiler?
You just say spoiler and you're like, I'm still going to say it.
Okay, we're going into the slight spoiler sections, whatever. Actually, no, I have another thing first. So first, the change that people were mad about was Agilmar being antagonistic towards Moraine. But I really enjoyed that because it shows that the grip of the White Tower is very, very tenuous. And it needs to be not coming from out of nowhere that people don't respect the White Tower. Also, the reason that Min likes Rand in the books is because she has a vision of it. This gives more of a connection to it, and I like that. So now we're in the book spoiler section.
We in it now.
Oh, general comments. I can start with my thing out of the way. I didn't like the time in the ways. It's not spoilery. It just I liked how it looked like. I just think the timing was weird. And I think it's maybe has to do because they lose a few minutes at first because Matt is not there. So they have to say, oh, we should get back Matt. And they fight a little bit about that. But it just, yeah, I feel like I still don't know how much time is it supposed to, like how much time were they supposed to spend in the ways. And there's a few things like that is not really clear. And of course, it makes sense because you don't have everything is dark. When you don't have any sort of light, you don't know how much time is passing. There's that. They had a limited set, so they cannot move on and on and on and do multiple. Like I think I would have liked, for example, to do multiple Iceland before they reach the one where they stop.
Okay.
Because especially if they're supposed to have spent a long time in the ways. Why the fuck would it be surprising for Perrin to see you guiding and be like, oh, I'm seeing something weird? It's a freaking piece of stone that has been giving you the pass to move from an Aslan to another. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, but the entire point is to show that he has supervision. And that came across so clearly.
Yes, it did.
Except it didn't at all.
Yeah, that was weird. That was like, that thing. There's a few things about Perrin's powers that feels a bit too much on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is literally, like, that is literally his power, though.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
Yeah, but you can have that in other way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For that guiding, it didn't make sense if they had spent enough time in the ways to see other guiding before.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And also, I think, I think there are other ways that they could have revealed his wolfishness without doing that. It was in a lot of better ways, honestly, but it's fine.
I'm not that mad. I just, like, the first time I watched it, I remember being like, that's a weird time in that place. Anyway.
I wonder if those were changes that were added in after Barney Harris left because they needed to do more with other characters. Because, Matt was obviously going to be a bigger part of these last 2 episodes, and now he's not there, and so they have to beef other characters up somehow. And I think it makes sense to beef up Perrin more because he didn't have a lot to do this season. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of focus on him necessarily, and so it makes I can see that being at least part of the reason, maybe, and part of the reason, and maybe that's why it was a little bit awkward and just a little bit like, it was very, like we've said, very on the nose.
Yeah. You actually mentioned the ways a little bit, Kat, in your notes.
Yeah, so it's funny, I had the opposite problem for you than you can me. I didn't mind the things that happened while they were in the ways. I'm fine with it being a short amount of time because I think if we had gotten any longer, I think it would have been too much almost. I could have done with a little bit longer. I would have liked to see just a little bit more of it. And I know it's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be, I get it. I just wanted it to be a little bit more enhanced. And I'm looking forward to seeing maybe a more, updated version of the ways when we return, because they're going to return to it. I assume in season 2, maybe a couple of times in season 2. And so I'm interested to see if an up in their budget will help a little bit with that. I don't know. The fact they were able to do it at all is still very impressive to me. It's the fact they were able to put those sets together. It's still impressive. I appreciate it. I don't know. It didn't quite hit the spot for me. The plot stuff is what hit the spot for me. The visually, it didn't quite do it for me.
I get that. I do want to give a shout out to the most Robert Jordan line in the entire show that has ever happened. And I honestly don't think they're ever going to be able to top it. It is when Egwene came out of the castle and said, "I waited for over an hour for you to come and apologize." That is the most Robert Jordan line that has ever existed, will ever exist. I dare them to try and one-up it.
I don't think they can.
Oops.
It was amazing.
Do we want to get a few Egwene stuff out and then just focus on the vision?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so one quick thing that I had about Egwene, I liked that she was trying to convince the other to go to the Eye. She's just not following Moraine. She has made her own decisions that she needs to do that for the greater good. And I think it's just show that she can become a good leader, and she will become a good leader, and I am excited to see that.
Yeah. It was interesting to see, when they were in the ways, Nynaeve was the one who was like, okay, Matt is not coming through. We have to keep going. We will find him later, but we have to go. And it's not until she says that the rest of them are like, okay, we're going to go. And now we kind of get Egwene being the one to come to Nynaeve and say, like, we have to do this. Like, we have to do this. And that sort of not complete softening, but that in Nynaeve's way, there's a softening to her posture. As she kind of realizes, oh, okay, Egwene she is speaking truth.
Like, damn, she got me there. She got
me.
You got me there.
And it's, yeah.
Which oddly happens a lot for Nynaeve in this season.
Unfortunately, yes. She's going through a lot of humbling moments in this season.
Yeah, if wisdom is the title you claim.
Oh my god. Oh.
Well.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think the line that hurt me the most in this entire episode was Egwene saying to Rand, "If it's you, I'll always stand by you, no matter what happens, no matter what comes. Lies! Lies!
There were so many personal attacks in that scene alone between Rand and Egwene. When Rand is saying to Egwene, I'll come with you to the tower. Did you think I would let anyone else be your warder? I was like, what the fuck are we doing here, Rafe? Why are you hurting us this way? What?
Just stab me.
Just stab me. I mean, and I mean this in the best possible way. It's good shit. But my God, hurtful.
Rough.
Yes. Yes.
It hurt so much. I'm just like, it's that scene from Legally Blonde in the intro when she throws the chocolates at the TV.
Liar!
Liar! I need to do that with a picture of like Rafe saying, I love the series.
Liar!
Liar!
The emotional damage.
It was so much.
Oh my God.
It was too much. Because I can't even talk about why. It's just too much.
There's just so much. Like, this is from now on. For me, it was the realization that from now on, Rand and Egwene's paths, while like are still going to be going like this, they're going to be like this. Like, they're going to be.
Right. They're parallel. They're going to, in the books, they don't see each other again for 14 books.
And that's what hurts.
They see each other again in book 3.
When?
Here.
Oh, yes. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. In book 3, you're right. Okay. They don't see each other for a book and a half. And then they don't see each other for 11 books.
And I mean, the next time they see each other, everything has changed. Everything has changed.
She's the Amerlin. He's God.
Literally everything has changed.
It's
going to be, I mean, it's so heartbreaking. And I think I put this in the Chaos document as well, but just like, that scene is heartbreaking. And Rand, I think what makes it so sad is that Rand knows that what he's saying is bullshit. He's saying, like, he knows that what he's saying is it's not true. It can't be true. Egwene doesn't know that. He knows it, though. And he's saying it because he loves her and because he wants to have these last few moments.
And I don't support heterosexuality, but
they made me care.
I feel bad for the number of non-book readers who came into the show and who actually, because there's like Rand and Egwene are a sweet couple. They have their difficulty, but like it's a good couple. And now it's like, we know it's not gonna go anywhere. We know it's over between the two of them. Like, This is it. This is the end.
This is their last time. This is the last time they have together.
And yeah, I feel so bad. It hurts. Okay, on that, let's move on to Min's vision.
Yes.
Because there's a few that were very obvious. Like Perrin's, I think it's obvious for everyone, book reader, non-book reader.
Mm-hmm.
Rand's got us confused for like a week, and then that was it.
For a week, yes.
And then it made sense.
I was I mean, we'll talk about it more next episode, but I think it was a weird direction to take.
Yeah, to have it included as a viewing, I think it's odd. Like it's.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of other, like it was a red herring for, again, it was a choice.
We'll discuss that choice next time we record.
Yes.
As book readers, we know what the White Flame and the Golden Ring are about, and I love that they were included because those are important viewing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Moiraine's, like,
listen,
I see the Amerlin seat, and she's wearing full regalia, and she's going to be your downfall.
Listen,
what the fuck?
I can't.
So it wasn't that. It was that. It was the look on Moraine's face immediately following it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the moment when I could not look at her because I didn't want to cry.
It sucked because Moiraine, I think what's going on in Moraine's mind, at least up until that point, is like, okay, I'm going to die from this, but at least I'll have the knowledge that Swan will be fine because she is relatively safe back in Tar-Valon. But I will have accomplished our mission that we set out to do in all of this. And now, all of a sudden, she's like, wait a second. So what's going to happen to make this come to pass? What could possibly happen? And it's just, I think it's just...
Well, because that's the thing. Like, I think part of her is, like, shaken because of Salon, yes. But also, if this is going to happen in the future, then she survives the eye of the world, and that means she did not succeed.
Exactly.
And that's what has shaken her.
I'm actually wondering whether, like, because another option would be that this is her facing the Amen incident of full regalia has already happened, but that being her downfall hasn't happened yet. And so it could be, I saw that the eye of the world is going to be her downfall. She could be understanding that it as that in this episode. But we know it's not her downfall.
Yeah.
So I'm curious for the future what it means.
I mean...
It means Elida.
I think it means Elida too.
Yeah.
Is going to start into motion all of these things, and Elida is going to still Suan.
Yeah.
Moraine is going to get news of Suan, go down to the docks, and cannonball Lanfear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's...
Oh, what idol will have premiered by this time?
Oh, that's right.
I did not put something together, but I did have an amazing line for Moraine, it being from Moraine's point of view to Lanfear, and it's like came in like a wrecking ball. And it all started with, what was it? You tried in vain, I am Moraine. That's it. That's all I had.
I love it.
And then nothing else happened.
Sadness.
I love it.
It's okay. Maybe one day.
One day. Yeah, it's the thing. And what's difficult too is that Moraine is thinking, okay, the worst possible option is either that I fail and it's because of how is that connected to Swan? Like, I am sure she's thinking this is tied to Swan in some way.
Yeah.
And I think in reality, it is tied to Swan, I think, but not in the way that she's thinking. And it's going to be so much worse. That's what sucks.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the thing. It's gonna, no matter what it is, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
And it's gonna be in like 1 or 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. So not sure whether we're gonna know about that one next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the last viewing from me we had was I saw the Rainbows and Carnivals and 3 Beautiful Women.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Rainbows and Carnival are supposed to be about.
Yeah, because the only right. I remember, isn't there something about Val and Luca showing up next season?
Yeah, I think it's the carnival. It's the carnival.
The one carnival in Randland.
Is that called a carnival too? It's not really a carnival, it's a circus.
It's like a traveling menagerie, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it could be that indeed. 3 Beautiful Women, it's pretty close to one of Min's vision. But that vision was 3 women around a funeral bier with brand on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we didn't get the funeral bier, which is interesting. But at the same time, I understand because that's a big,
yep.
a big thing.
Yeah, that's a little too, I don't know. I think they could have included that and it would have been good. 3 women around your funeral pyre. That would have been another gut punch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they might still do it because we know that, Min gave Moraine a part of what she saw with the different visions. Who knows that she's giving, if she's not giving Rand the full, she may not be giving Rand everything.
Right.
And so she may have seen it, but chose not to. Because at this point, Min knows that she's going to end up with Rand. She's aware of this. She's fully aware of this. And so...
She's one of the 3 women.
She knows she's one of the 3. So she's, I would not... It would not surprise me if she is intentionally holding things back.
Yeah, she's definitely intentionally holding back. She knows she's going to end up with this man, but she doesn't know this man.
No, she doesn't know him. She has no reason to.
I don't know what you can handle. You seem pretty fragile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say, I'm not going to give it all right now.
Yeah.
By the way, R.I.P. in peace.
It's funny because he asked her whether he's going to come back from the eye. And she knows because she knows she's one of the 3 women.
Yep. She's all about that drama.
But I think I also wonder whether there's still a part of, even if you know what's supposed to happen, you still need other people to figure out their own shit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I don't...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the entire thing is free will. Yeah.
Exactly.
In the books, it's really whatever she sees gonna happen, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious whether there's gonna be a bit more suspicion about that in the show.
I think there should be a change.
Yeah.
Well, on this, do you have anything else to say, Kat?
I will have a lot to say for episode 8.
Yeah.
There will be a lot to say for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, we'll
have our notes prepared for that episode. It's going to be a two-parter anyway, because there's going to be a first part where we're going to be without any spoiler for the books, and then there's going to be a second part where it's going to be, so, spoiler. What did we think about season? Like, it's going to be even more than just episode 8 at this point.
Exactly. Because there's too much. There's going to be too much to talk. Like, we can't include it in the same episode. There's no way.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Queers of Time podcast. If you liked our show, please give us a review on Apple Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Queers of Time and on our Discord server. If you're able, we'd love to have your support through Patreon. We've got a lot of nice benefits there, and this helps us cover the cost of producing the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.